A sudden vibration shook Emma's phone on the kitchen counter. She picked it up, eyes scanning the glowing message. Her stomach sank as the words crystallized a truth she refused to imagine. "I can't stop thinking about you tonight," read the text. Her hand trembled, coffee sloshing onto the wooden floor. She froze, the laughter from the morning's breakfast still echoing in her ears. Ben walked past, whistling casually, unaware that the foundation of their life was cracking. Emma's chest tightened as the air seemed to thicken. She whispered, "What is this?" But the sound barely carried. The phone buzzed again with a familiar name. She looked over at Ben, who turned sharply, pretending nothing happened. Silence fell like a heavy curtain, only the refrigerator humming in the background. Emma's mind raced, heart hammering. Every memory of shared smiles felt tainted. She dropped the phone onto the counter. Ben's expression was calm, too calm, eyes flicking somewhere distant. She felt exposed, vulnerable, cornered in a home that no longer felt like hers. The betrayal was immediate, visceral, impossible to ignore. Emma backed away from the counter, her heart pounding like a drum in an empty hall. The house felt alien, every familiar corner tainted by suspicion. She sank into the living room couch, tracing her fingers along the cushion, desperate to ground herself. Memories of shared breakfasts and whispered dreams flickered like an old film, now corrupted. Her mind circled around the text, replaying it endlessly. Ben's casual hum from the kitchen grated on her nerves, each note a reminder of the facade she had lived in. She whispered to herself, was everything a lie? The living room clock ticked louder than usual, punctuating her panic. She considered calling a friend, someone to anchor her sanity, but hesitation rooted her in silence. Shadows stretched across the room as afternoon light shifted, highlighting the invisible barrier now between them. Her chest ached with betrayal, yet part of her clung to hope that it was all a misunderstanding. She stared at the phone again, her thumb hovering above the screen, torn between confronting Ben or fleeing into the uncertainty outside. Emma's thoughts were a cyclone of doubt as she replayed every interaction with Ben. Was it the late nights? The evasive answers? The sudden text alerts he always dismissed? She remembered his warm smile yesterday, now a mask hiding his duplicity. Each memory twisted painfully, and the walls of their home seemed to close in. She wanted to scream, to demand honesty, yet a paralyzing fear rooted her to the couch. Her eyes darted to the hallway, imagining what she might find if she followed Ben. The coffee stain on the floor mirrored the stain on her trust, spreading uncontrollably. The sound of the refrigerator humming became a metronome for her racing heart. Emma's phone buzzed again, and she flinched, half expecting the same treacherous words. She closed her eyes briefly, wishing she could erase the day, rewind time, and pretend the message had never appeared. Reality, however, pressed on, relentless and unforgiving. She exhaled, steadying herself, knowing she had to confront the impossibility of the truth soon. The front door clicked. Emma froze, heart skipping. Ben entered casually, holding a grocery bag, whistling a familiar tune that now felt alien. He glanced at her with a smile that no longer carried warmth, a mask she could no longer accept. Her mind scrambled, emotions clashing violently. Words formed in her mouth, but stumbled before escape. She wanted to ask, accuse, cry, and flee all at once. Ben's oblivious demeanor infuriated her, the casual hum of daily life now a cruel mockery. She watched him unpack groceries, each movement precise, almost rehearsed. She imagined the secrets he carried hidden within these mundane gestures. Emma gripped the edge of the couch, knuckles white, trying to steady the storm inside her. She longed to scream, yet a small part of her, the part that still loved him, hesitated, holding on to fragments of the past that might never return. Emma rose slowly, trembling yet determined, her phone clutched tightly. Ben continued to unpack, unaware of the storm about to break. Every step she took toward him felt like wading through molasses, heavy and charged with electricity. She wanted answers, a confession, or even a lie that felt human. The air between them thickened, charged with unspoken words. Memories of laughter and shared nights collided with suspicion and fear. Emma's voice finally found strength, breaking the silence. "Who are you texting?" she demanded, tone sharp yet quivering. Ben froze mid-motion, eyes flicking to her with an unreadable expression. The moment stretched taut, every second drawn into infinity. Her pulse pounded, the house echoing with the tension of truth about to surface. The ordinary living room transformed into a battleground, ordinary objects now silent witnesses to betrayal. Emma's voice trembled as it cut through the room, sharp and raw. Ben's hands froze over the groceries, his calm demeanor faltering under her intensity. Words collided with silence as she demanded explanations, her chest tight with disbelief. He met her gaze, eyes flitting between honesty and evasion, lips parting as if to speak but faltering mid-air. Every fiber of her being screamed for the truth, yet a fragile hope lingered that misunderstanding could be corrected. Shadows of the late afternoon stretched across the walls, mirroring the darkness creeping into their home. Emma's hands clenched at her sides, nails pressing into her palms as though to anchor herself. The air felt electric, every sound amplified, the hum of the refrigerator, the faint creak of the floorboards. She noticed the subtle twitch of Ben's fingers and the flicker of guilt in his eyes. Time seemed suspended, measured only by her pounding heart and the unspoken words hovering between them. She drew a breath, steadying herself for the confrontation she had dreaded yet demanded. Ben's voice was hesitant, faltering under the weight of Emma's stare. He tried to explain, each word catching like dry leaves in a storm of doubt. Emma's heartbeat thundered, matching the rhythm of her thoughts as suspicion twisted each phrase he offered. His excuses sounded hollow, rehearsed, yet she caught glimpses of sincerity beneath the surface. She stepped closer, determined to unravel the layers of deception, her presence filling the room with unspoken authority. The groceries lay forgotten, a symbolic casualty of unraveling trust. Emma's eyes locked on Ben, searching for cracks in his armor, the smallest sign that the bond they had shared still existed. Sunlight shifted, painting streaks across the floor and walls, highlighting the strain in every movement, the weight of unsaid words pressing down. She inhaled sharply, steadying her resolve, feeling both dread and determination intertwine. The air between them seemed to thicken with each passing second, charged with the electricity of confrontation, anticipation, and fear of what truth would come. Emma's words pierced the quiet room like shards of glass. She demanded to know the truth, the betrayal etched in every syllable. Ben's eyes dropped, shame and fear mixing in a storm she could no longer ignore. His hands fidgeted, betraying the composure he tried to maintain, and the weight of secrecy became unbearable. She circled him, measuring each movement, searching for honesty in gestures and micro-expressions. Memories of laughter and shared promises crashed violently against the present. Emma's mind raced, replaying clues she had overlooked, patterns she had ignored, signs that now screamed with clarity. Her breath came faster, chest rising and falling in rapid succession as she prepared for confession, confrontation, and resolution. The room seemed smaller, walls closing in with the intensity of her gaze. Sunlight faded into soft amber tones, casting long shadows across the hardwood floor, echoing the gravity of the moment. Every heartbeat felt amplified, the air thick with anticipation, as she awaited the words that would change everything. Ben finally spoke, voice low, hesitant, and laden with guilt. He admitted the secret, his eyes pleading for understanding, but Emma's disbelief was palpable. Her pulse raced as truth unfolded, raw and unfiltered, yet every revelation felt simultaneously devastating and clarifying. She stepped back, mind racing, attempting to process the betrayal and its implications. The sunlight slanting through the blinds cut across his face, highlighting the conflict in his expression. Silence fell briefly, heavy and suffocating, as Emma struggled to reconcile the man she loved with the truths he had hidden. Questions raced through her mind, each answer raising new doubts. Her gaze swept the room, landing on objects they once shared, now tainted with tension. Ben's shoulders slumped, exhaustion and remorse, etched into his posture. Emma exhaled slowly, attempting to anchor herself amidst the storm, searching for a path forward while grappling with heartbreak. She felt the fragility of trust, the vulnerability of love, and the uncertainty of reconciliation in every beat of her heart. Emma's breath hitched as she digested each revelation, her mind oscillating between anger, sorrow, and reluctant understanding. She wanted to retreat, to flee from the confrontation, yet her love anchored her feet. Ben's apology trembled in the air, fragile and vulnerable, a lifeline she could grasp or reject. Silence hung heavy, punctuated by distant sounds of the city outside, muffled by closed windows. Emma's gaze softened slightly, though suspicion lingered like a shadow. She took a tentative step forward, heart still racing, seeking clarity and resolution. Ben mirrored her movement cautiously, a silent plea for forgiveness. Time felt suspended, every second elongated by tension and emotion. The room seemed simultaneously intimate and suffocating, shadows and light weaving across their faces. Emma's hand hovered near her chest, the gesture a bridge between confrontation and tentative reconciliation. Every heartbeat echoed in the stillness as they navigated the fragile path between betrayal and trust, uncertainty and hope, fear and love. The room was quiet now, tension replaced by cautious stillness. Emma's hands trembled slightly as she reached for the cup of tea on the table, her eyes never leaving Ben. He mirrored her hesitance, fingers brushing against the edge of the counter as if grounding himself. Words were unnecessary, yet unspoken understanding hung thick in the air. Every glance exchanged was laden with vulnerability, fragile trust beginning to rebuild, yet fear lingered, a shadow reminding them of past fractures. The late evening sunlight filtered through the curtains, casting soft golden streaks across their faces, highlighting the strain and relief simultaneously. Memories of their shared laughter and whispered dreams surfaced unbidden, clashing with the raw wounds of recent betrayal. Silence became a dialogue, each pause a test of patience, each breath a step closer to reconciliation. Emma inhaled deeply, savoring the stillness while bracing for the emotions that could still erupt. Ben's posture relaxed slightly, shoulders dropping as the first glimmer of hope appeared. The atmosphere shifted subtly, warm and fragile, yet promising, like the calm after a storm, where understanding begins to bloom amidst the remnants of fear and doubt. Ben spoke gently, choosing each word with care, admitting faults without pleading. Emma listened, breath steadying, her chest rising and falling as the storm within her calmed. She measured the sincerity in his tone, tracing the cracks of honesty that pierced the walls of past deception. A soft smile threatened, almost imperceptible, yet enough to make him notice. Their shared history, memories of small victories, comforting routines, and quiet evenings, surfaced, tempering her anger with recognition of love, still present. The fading sun painted streaks of orange across the room, shadows stretching long and thin, mirroring the fragility of their renewed connection. Words became bridges, tentative and delicate, weaving a thread of trust where doubt had dominated. She exhaled slowly, letting relief mingle with lingering sorrow, aware that healing required patience. Time seemed elastic, each second elongated by the weight of emotion and the tentative steps toward reconciliation. Ben's gaze softened as he stepped closer, measuring her reactions, offering silent promises of change without needing to speak them aloud. Emma finally spoke, her voice quiet but steady, acknowledging the cracks in their bond without dissolving completely. Ben's eyes brightened, relief mingled with apprehension, knowing their path forward would be fraught yet possible. She traced patterns on the table absent-mindedly, grounding herself while weighing forgiveness. Memories of past arguments and reconciliations surfaced, a tapestry of shared life woven with moments of joy and pain. Each word exchange now carried weight, deliberate and careful, a dance of vulnerability and courage. The room's warmth deepened as evening, light softened into twilight, shadows blending gently with the glow of the lamp. Ben's posture straightened, subtle confidence returning, reflecting the cautious optimism growing in Emma's heart. Their breaths synchronized for the first time in hours, a rhythm of tentative peace, yet tinged with awareness that true repair demanded patience and mutual effort. Silence became companionable, not empty, a space where understanding began to root itself in quiet gestures rather than declarations. She finally lifted her gaze, meeting his fully eyes bright with tentative hope and determination to rebuild what had been fractured. Ben extended his hand slowly, a silent offer of partnership and renewed commitment. Emma hesitated, heart pounding, measuring trust and intention in the smallest detail. Their eyes met, a conversation more profound than any words could convey, filled with history, regret, and possibility. She took a breath, feeling the fragility of the moment and the strength of choice. Slowly, she placed her hand in his, a gesture of tentative reconciliation and mutual understanding. The room seemed to exhale with them, shadows retreating as warm indoor light embraced their forms. Outside, the city lights blinked on one by one, signaling continuity beyond this room, yet reflecting the intimacy within it. Every heartbeat was shared, each gesture deliberate, creating a rhythm of connection. The air vibrated with unspoken promises, a tentative blueprint of repair, trust, and hope. For the first time that evening, laughter lingered on the edges of conversation, soft and unsure but genuine, a precursor to renewal. Silence, once heavy, became comfortable, a companion in this shared moment of fragile harmony. Their hands clasped, a bridge across the gap of hurt and doubt. Emma's chest swelled with relief and cautious optimism, realizing that trust could be rebuilt through intention and care. Ben mirrored her sentiment, his eyes glinting with gratitude and determination to honor the fragile bond. Together, they breathed in unison, embracing the silence as a testament to their renewed connection. Evening shadows softened, light filtering through curtains, like a promise of tomorrow. Words no longer needed to carry the weight of reconciliation. Gestures and presence sufficed. Every shared glance affirmed the tentative strength of their love, fragile but resilient. Past grievances hovered briefly, acknowledged but no longer defining the space between them. The room radiated warmth, infused with possibility, and the gentle rhythm of mutual respect. For the first time since betrayal, laughter escaped, unguarded and free, echoing softly, weaving through shadows and light, sealing a moment of restored harmony. Their journey was far from over, yet in this space they had discovered the fragile beauty of forgiveness and the courage to continue together. Emma stepped into the park, sunlight warming her face, and breathed deeply. Ben followed, quiet but present, their shared laughter returning naturally. Birds chirped as leaves rustled around them. A gentle breeze carried away tension, and for the first time they felt fully in sync. Their steps matched, careful yet unforced, as if the world itself paused to witness their fragile renewal. They reached a bench under a blossoming tree. Emma sat first, feeling the soft petals brush her shoulder. Ben followed, sitting close but not touching, respecting the new space between them. Conversation flowed easily, punctuated with laughter and quiet moments. The past felt distant here, replaced by present warmth and cautious hope. A small dog ran past, catching Emma's attention. She laughed, reaching down to pet it, and Ben watched, amused. Their bond felt playful, light, and spontaneous again. Past worries seemed distant as they embraced this simple joy together. Smiles grew wider, hearts lighter, as laughter mingled with the soft afternoon air. They wandered to a fountain, water sparkling in the sun. Emma tossed a coin, making a wish silently. Ben leaned on the fountain edge, watching her, feeling gratitude and a deep sense of peace. Their eyes met, sharing unspoken promises and quiet excitement for what lay ahead. The world felt renewed, mirroring their fresh start. As the sun set, they walked hand in hand along the garden path. Warm hues painted the sky, blending with their intertwined fingers. Emma felt a profound sense of safety and love. Ben's heart echoed the same. Silence was comfortable now, filled with understanding. Together, they stepped forward, ready to face whatever came next, strengthened by trust and newfound harmony. Emma awoke to the soft glow of dawn, sunlight spilling into the room. Ben was already awake, quietly sipping coffee by the window, his gaze thoughtful yet calm. They shared a gentle smile, the silence between them full of understanding. Today felt like a turning point, the culmination of struggles and small victories. Every tension from the past had softened, replaced by a calm certainty. Even the quiet moments seemed to hum with possibility, a promise that their journey together was far from over. They stepped outside, the garden bathed in golden morning light. Birds chirped as dew sparkled on the grass. Emma breathed deeply, letting the freshness fill her lungs. Ben reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her face, and she laughed softly. Their laughter mingled with the gentle rustle of leaves. The world felt expansive, their hearts light and synchronized. Every worry seemed distant, replaced with clarity and resolve. Today, nothing could shake the trust and connection they had rebuilt, strengthened by shared understanding. Later, they walked along the lakeside, the water reflecting the rising sun. Emma skipped a stone, watching ripples spread gently across the surface. Ben followed, skipping another, and they shared a quiet competition, laughter punctuating the air. The rhythm of their steps matched the calm movement of the lake, creating a sense of harmony. Time felt suspended, the world narrowing to just the two of them. Every glance, every shared smile, reinforced their bond, a testament to resilience, forgiveness, and the beauty of rediscovered love. As afternoon approached, they found themselves in a quiet cafe, sunlight streaming through tall windows. Emma sipped tea, eyes bright with curiosity, while Ben sketched quietly on a napkin, thoughtful and focused. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, punctuated with laughter and gentle teasing. Strangers paused to glance at the easy companionship they shared. Every moment carried unspoken understanding. The past hardships felt like distant shadows. Only warmth, joy, and a sense of shared future remained. They were present, fully alive in this shared simplicity. As evening fell, they strolled along a quiet city street, lanterns casting soft amber light. Emma leaned into Ben, their shadows stretching behind them. The city buzzed faintly around them, yet it felt as though they were in their own world. They paused, sharing a long, unspoken glance, knowing words were unnecessary. Their journey had come full circle. Every challenge, every reconciliation, had brought them to this precise moment of peace and unity. With hearts full and spirits light, they stepped forward together, ready for whatever the future held. Morning mist hugged the rolling hills as Emma and Ben ventured outside. Every breath felt crisp, carrying the scent of dew-soaked grass and wildflowers. Emma paused, eyes wide, absorbing the expanse before her, while Ben stood slightly behind, hands in pockets, watching her with quiet admiration. They spoke little, letting the landscape and soft wind carry their emotions. This was a moment of renewal, where past struggles felt like distant echoes. Their hearts beat in sync with nature's rhythm, a silent promise of adventures yet to come. By midday they reached a quiet riverbank, its waters glinting in the sunlight. Emma bent to touch the water, sending tiny ripples across the surface. Ben knelt beside her, gently skipping stones as their laughter echoed softly. Each movement felt synchronized, as if the river itself acknowledged their harmony. The world beyond seemed muted, distant, irrelevant. Here, only presence mattered, the simple acts of connection holding a profound depth. Every glance, every touch carried hope, marking the start of a chapter filled with possibility and discovery. As afternoon unfolded, they wandered through a sun-dappled forest, leaves whispering above. Emma twirled beneath the canopy, sunlight flickering on her hair, while Ben followed with a wide smile, occasionally reaching to brush leaves aside. Their steps crunched over fallen twigs and foliage, the forest alive with the songs of birds. Conversations flowed effortlessly, alternating between laughter, curiosity, and quiet reflection. Every glance and gesture conveyed a newfound freedom. Here, surrounded by life and light, they discovered that beginnings could emerge even after long trials. Evening descended as they reached a quiet cliff overlooking the ocean. Waves crashed rhythmically below, reflecting the amber hues of sunset. Emma leaned on the railing, her face serene, hair tousled by the breeze. Ben stood beside her, shoulder touching hers, watching the horizon with quiet awe. Words were unnecessary. The colors, sounds, and wind conveyed every feeling. Every challenge endured, every sorrow faced, had led them to this shared serenity. Together they embraced the unknown future, trusting in their connection, courage, and the simple beauty of now. Night arrived with stars scattered like diamonds across the sky. Emma and Ben lay on a blanket atop the hill, gazing upward. The cool air mingled with the soft scent of wildflowers around them. They held hands, fingers intertwined, silence filled with unspoken words. Fireflies danced near, tiny lights reflecting hope and wonder. Every heartbeat echoed the rhythm of the universe itself. In this quiet, infinite night, they understood that every ending was also a beginning. Their journey, bound by trust and love, was ready to continue, limitless and luminous. Dawn broke over the city skyline, golden light spilling between skyscrapers as Emma and Ben walked hand in hand through quiet streets. The city, usually bustling, seemed to pause for them, a gentle hum replacing the usual chaos. They spoke softly, sharing dreams and reflections on their journey, each word weighted with gratitude and insight. Around them, small signs of life emerged: a baker opening his shop, birds taking flight from ledges, a child waving from a window. Every detail felt amplified, vibrant with possibility. Together, they navigated the urban maze, their bond anchoring them in a world brimming with opportunity. Every step carried intention, a promise to honor past lessons while embracing new adventures. By midday, they reached a community center, vibrant with activity. Children laughed while playing outside. Volunteers moved with purpose inside. Emma paused, observing, her eyes softening at the scene of collective effort. Ben knelt beside a small group planting flowers, sharing a joke that made them all laugh. Their presence felt natural, almost catalytic, as if their shared energy encouraged those around them to engage fully. Conversations flowed about dreams, ambitions, and the small joys of giving back. Each action, every smile, became part of a larger tapestry of hope. In that moment, they understood that fulfillment was not in solitude, but in shared purpose, in lifting others while cherishing their connection. Afternoon brought them to a riverside park where families picnicked and joggers passed by. Emma and Ben found a bench beneath an old oak, leaves shimmering in the breeze. They spoke quietly, reflecting on their journey from uncertainty to discovery, from trials to triumph. Children's laughter mingled with the river's soft current, creating a symphony of life and continuity. Ben offered a small sketchbook to Emma, who smiled and began sketching the scene, capturing movement, light, and emotion. Time slowed, filled with observation, creativity, and shared appreciation. They realized that these moments of simplicity, of attentiveness, carried more meaning than grand gestures, connecting them to the world and each other in profound ways. As dusk approached, they climbed a gentle hill to witness the sunset. The horizon blazed in shades of orange, purple, and gold, reflecting on the calm waters below. Emma leaned against Ben, her head resting on his shoulder, eyes closed, savoring the warmth of the moment. Ben wrapped an arm around her, both of them breathing in sync with the rhythm of the world. Silence spoke volumes, carrying the weight of gratitude, love, and accomplishment. They knew their journey was ongoing, yet this pause allowed reflection. Every challenge faced, every lesson learned, was now a foundation on which new dreams could be built. The sky, the earth, and their hearts resonated with infinite possibilities, promising more adventures to come. Night fell, and the city lights twinkled like constellations on the earth below. Emma and Ben returned to their rooftop garden, a space they had nurtured together. Lanterns glowed softly, casting warm circles of light over plants and pathways. They tended to the flowers, water glinting in the lantern light, speaking of hopes for tomorrow. Every gesture carried care, every glance spoke trust and admiration. In the quiet of the night, surrounded by growth, life, and gentle illumination, they understood the depth of their journey. Love, fulfillment, and legacy intertwined seamlessly. They sat together, hands entwined, gazing at the stars, embracing the quiet certainty that they were exactly where they were meant to be.